Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be going through the top makeup of 2020. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to try to breeze through it. I'm not going to do any close-up because this is makeup that I've spoken about time and time again. So I'm just trying to say the best of each product and, kind of keep it going. I want to make this as quick as possible because there's a lot to go to. Another thing, yes, I am in my PJs because in Miami it's freezing and I didn't want to shower, okay? Don't judge me. So if you want to see the best makeup of 2020, then just keep watching. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the eyes. Now, I don't have any brow products, so I'm just gonna skip right through that, but I have a bunch of eye products. So I'm gonna start with my favorites are the Fenty eyeshadows, the snap shadows. You're supposed to snap them together and you can take them anywhere. Not that it mattered this year, but hopefully will matter in 2021. Now these shadows, I love the color story. That's the first thing. The one that I have on right now is the number 7, which is kind of like a fallish situation. Then we got the number 4, which is a pink color story. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. What I like about this is that fallout is pretty much inexistent. I love the fact that they have very shimmery shades and that their mattes are very, very blendable. So that's pretty much to it. Aside from the color story, I love the quality. I do think they're a good bang for your buck. I definitely buy them and buy more if I needed them, but I do have the other color stories at hand. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. I did try the Lottie London eyeshadow in Ibiza. Now, I'm not a fan of neon. I don't use neon on the day-to-day, but if I would, this would be the palette that I would go for. It definitely has a very cool theme going on. It has very cool neon mattes, and they're really, really good. I don't believe I remember if they had fallout or not, but I do remember the mattes being very, very blendable, and the shimmers are actually pretty damn good. And I believe this palette was pretty cheap, so kudos. If you want any neon palettes, I'd suggest you to check out Lottie London. Following that same line, I did want to try pastels, which again, it's another trend that happened in 2020. And I tried the Huda Beauty Mint palette. Now, I remember talking mad shit about this palette, but the metallic shades here are stunning. They're buttery smooth, they're super pigmented, and they're all duochromatic. They're delicious. This matte is pretty cool. Again, if you use the other mattes to pat, that's good. I mean, again, I'm not an expert, but I didn't like the palette for, the pastel side, which is, what you want from the mattes. Didn't kill me, but the metallics are so good that I had to include it in here because I did use it a lot because of the metallics, and I think it's worth it. I mean, if you want to splurge for the metallics, I'd definitely go for it, and yeah. One palette that I did find the pastels to be pretty good, and I mean the mattes, is the ColourPop Aura and Out palette. It's this really nice pastel, well, not mint, but green pastel and blue color story. I do like it a lot. The mattes are really good. The shimmers are delicious, buttery smooth. You can see how much I touched it. I really like this palette. I love the big mirror, and I think it was pretty cheap. I think it was less than 20 bucks. And if you're looking for a really good pastel palette for the matte, then this would be your good guy. Again, the metallics are just as well. If you'd ask me to compare them, I'd definitely give this one a win. No, there's no thinking about it, but I had to include both. A really good pink palette with a really nice pigmented story is the Berries by Juvia. This palette is so delicious. The pigmentation is insane. There is fallout, but I mean, if you're doing this kind of eyeshadow, you're going for the big glam and worth it. I do my eyes first and then just knock it out of the park by cleaning it up, because honestly, this is such a big bang for your buck. I believe this is $16 for 6 gigantic shades, and the mattes are really easy to blend out. The metallics are super duper intense. Like, I have nothing as intense as this when it goes to the pinks. They're really good. I think in 2021, this is a brand that I do want to get to know more. I honestly think this brand has really cool stuff, and I can't wait to try it. And then my latest find is the Marc Jacobs Editorial palette. I think if you followed me enough, you've seen this palette at hand. Honestly, I bought it in discount, and for discount, I think it's worth it. It has 7 shades, and the metallics are amazing, and I love the white shade. Like, This is honestly, if you like the color story and you're getting it on discount, which I believe I bought it for $23 plus the discount on Black Friday, I thought it was really, really good. I do like it a lot. I did use it for this look specifically today as well, so I can't leave it outside. I did like it a lot, so cannot talk about it, you know? Can't not talk about it. Now, the last palette is gonna be the Soft Glam. Not a new palette this year, but so good. I've used it throughout the whole year. Definitely, it's pretty worked out. Like, it's one of my most worked out palettes. It's really used up, and I really like the mattes. It's so blendable but so pigmented, and it's honestly my dream. Like, the mattes are just everything that I want in a palette. Honestly, not a fan of the glitter, not a fan of the metallic because they're so, you know, it's supposed to be soft glam, so they're really muted down. But the mattes here are so good that I just go back to them every single time. This is a palette I use in conjunction with other ones just because I love so much the mattes. So this was one that I had to include. Now I do want to talk about single shadows. Well, I don't know if this counts as single shadows, but well, the trio shadows from Kaja, you know what I mean? So I got the Orange Blossom and the original brown one. I just want to show you guys these. They are so pretty. They are so pretty. Like, the shades, and I love the fact that they have so many colors within them. It's just, if you like really good quality glittery eyeshadows that have, they're so multi-dimensional because they have so many colors to them that it's just, even if you wear this shimmer by itself, it will catch everyone's eyes because it's so wow. Like, that's the only thing that I can describe this as. It's so wow because you have this main shade, which is either pink or taupe or gold, and then you have so many glitters underneath that original shade that it just makes it so dimensional. Love it. Had to mention it because it's still one of my favorites. I decluttered a bunch of stuff, which now that I think about it, I should have filmed it, but whatever. I decluttered a lot, and this is something that I could not let go because it's so good. The ColourPop shade in Mint For You. So along the mint palette that I have at hand, I bought this ColourPop shadow in Mint For You, and it's such a beautiful minty green. I have it in my inner corner, and it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Buttery smooth, super glittery, same old ColourPop. Then I did get to try the Hourglass Scattered Light eyeshadow, and it's so good. It's buttery smooth, it's delicious, it's so good. It's one of my favorite shadows. I just wanted you to get a glimpse of that. It's delicious. It's just like, honestly, I'm thinking of doing a video of the battle of these two because I feel like they got the same kind of shimmer because they're so good. Like, they're the kind of sparkle that catches your eye because it's so reflective. That definitely had to make the line. I did spend a really big amount of money for this, but I think it was worth it because it's so pretty. It's just something that I use over and over again, so definitely worth it. Now I'm gonna go into the lashes. Now this has been the year of lashes, even though I've gone nowhere. I love lashes. I love the effect they give to the eyes. And yes, I am not using any today because you know what? There are just some looks that don't need lashes. I wanted to keep it pretty, like glam, but you know, chill. But my favorite lashes that I've tested this year have been the Tarte lashes and the Lily lashes. Hands down, Lily lashes are so good. I've reused them so many times. They're easy to put on. I honestly, there's not like a specific thing about lashes that you want. You just want them to be functional and to be able to reuse them as much as possible without them looking bad. And I feel like these two do the job, and can't wait for 2021 and many more lashes to come. Now that we've been through the eyes, again, I didn't find any mascaras that I was into. I did find a beautiful liner, which again was the Marc Jacobs liner that I did on my last review. Beautiful, works so well. I have it on today, and I didn't have to work for the color. It's expensive, but it's really good. Okay, really good. Now that we're done with the eyes, I'm gonna go through all of my face favorites, which feels like a lot, but let's get to it. Not a fan of primer. I don't have any specific primers that I like. I do like to use my lovely moisturizers, and I've spoken about skincare in my last video. If you didn't see it, then you can watch that. I'm gonna link it up here. But I'm gonna jump into foundations. So my favorite foundations of this year. the most beautiful foundation with the sheer coverage that makes my skin look so beautiful is the MAC Face and Body Foundation, along with the ColourPop Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. Is the Pretty Fresh line. These two are so beautiful. They make your skin look super hydrated, super fresh, and just like I've said a million times, I'm not a coverage kind of gal. I'm more on the freshness of the skin looking like person. So I do very much appreciate these foundations. I love them. I love how they make my skin look. They make it look like my face, but you know, like I slept 20 hours, and that's the kind of look that I'm going for. And honestly, these two foundations have been amazing. They do the trick. They do the trick. They're very liquidy. They're very lovely, and they match me perfectly. Both of them. Well, I think this one has a little off. It's a little off, but I still like it. I use them very much a lot because they just, yeah, they make my skin look gorgeous. One foundation that I did not expect to like was the Rare Beauty Foundation. Guys, I tested this foundation so many times before I liked it. I tried it with different brushes, and the key that I found was that I was using the wrong brush. So now I'm using one from BH Cosmetics, and it's the most beautiful thing to happen to me on earth. I'm not a fan of coverage, just like I've said pretty much a million times before this, but this foundation is so good for coverage and to make your skin look like skin. So it's not too heavy on it, and to the point where it lies on top of your skin, and it gives you really good coverage, and it matches me perfectly. I'm gonna put the shades in the description below, and gives me the best of both worlds, hydrating while being super high coverage. So that's really nice. Moving on to concealers, I have two favorite concealers of this year. One is the Rare Beauty one. Again, this is actually not super high coverage, but I do like how it makes my skin look. I'm not a fan of it in the long term, so if I'm gonna go like a whole day with makeup on, this is not something that I enjoy. However, I do like it for the short term. If I'm gonna spend like an hour or two with it, I like how it looks. Might not be the case for you, might not be what you're looking for, but I tend to go back to it so many times that I just decided to mention it here because clearly I keep coming back to it, even when I don't need to. And hands down, my favorite concealer of this year, and honestly all time, is the Tarte Creases Concealer. It's so good for the long term and for the short term. So I can use this all day and I'll still love it. It's hydrating, it's super high coverage. Yeah, and I love it. I mean, I guess that's what I like about this one. It's not as high coverage as this one, and it's not heavy, but it's not as high coverage. This one is super high coverage, but at the same time, it's not heavy on the skin, you know? You can put it in, it's gonna make my dry under eyes look delicious and like I slept 20 hours again. That's the kind of look that I'm going for, and it looks great under powder, which makes me feel good. It looks hydrated even after powder, which is, again, something that I do like. So kudos to Tarte. Really good job. Going into powder, so my favorite powders are the Hourglass Veil Setting Powder and the MAC. I learned about the Hourglass the year before, but the MAC I learned it this year. I use it every single time. I love it. I love how easy to use it is. I think this is the reason why I go more for this one than the Hourglass. It's compact, which I never thought I'd be, you know, kind of compact girl. But I do love the fact that I can just, you know, dip my brush here and put it on and look great. So yeah, it's an awesome powder. That's the only one. Now for bronzer. This is a bronzer that I used last year, and I think I spoke about it in my favorites last year. But again, it's made it to this year because it's so good. It's the only cream bronzer that's matte that I've tried, but that I love so much. So I had to mention it. It's the Nude Sticks Bondi Bay Bronzer. It's matte, but it doesn't make my skin look flat, and it doesn't attach to my dry skin. So yeah, that's pretty much, it does its job, and it blends really nicely. Fenty came out with their cream bronzers this year. They are more on the dewy side. They're more, you know, reflective, more dewy, and I love them. I have the shade Macchiato and the shade Butter Biscuit. This is more for the cool tone situation. This is more for the, you know, warmer side, and I love them both. I love to use them all the time, every single time, so I had to mention it. These are delicious, very easy to blend out, and again, they do the job. They don't get attached to any dry spot, and yeah. I believe I spoke about this one last year. This is the Hourglass Ambient Bronzer. This is the Fuse Bronze Light. It's a mini that I got here. I used to use it at work kid you not, every single day. And this has been one of the only powder bronzers that I still use. I did try the Marc Jacobs one, but honestly, not a fan of it. I tried it again, not a fan of it. But this one has stayed on the line because it doesn't attach to the dry spots of my face. It doesn't emphasize the dryness of my skin. So I do love that. And yeah, it's one of the only powder bronzers. I think it's the only powder bronzer that I used this year, and hands down, it's amazing, which is why it's on the list. Moving on to blushes. I had to mention same old nude sticks. So I got to try the nude sticks blushes this year, and I really do like the matte line. This is the shade Body Language, but this is the Nudies Matte. So the Nudies Matte, it's less emollient and it is sheer, but it stays more on your skin, and I really like the shade. I love how easy it is to put it on my skin and how easy it blends out. Not much to say about this brand. Rare Beauty came out with their line of blushes, and I think hands down they're my favorite liquid blushes of all that I've tried ever, because they're very pigmented and they look like, you know, they look different on my skin. You know how I said how some blushes aren't picked up on my skin? Well, these are, and I love that, and I love how easy to blend they are, and I love how much they stay on your skin. Granted, the matte one is a little bit harder to blend. Still love them. Highly recommend. And I don't think I'll ever end this, honestly. One ColourPop blush that I got to try is the Super Shock She's in Bold blush. And honestly, this is the one that I have on right now, and this is kind of like a bouncy formula because it's not 100% of powder. Well, you know, ColourPop is known for their Super Shock formula. You know, I don't know how to explain it. It's bouncy and it's not dry. It's just like the bronzer. It's like, it doesn't attach to my dryness. Doesn't look like powder, so I love it. Not much to say. Now for highlight, I got 3 different brands actually. One that I got super shocked of the fact that I love it so much. So much. It's the e.l.f. highlighter. I mean, I've spoken about this a million times. It's the Mega Glow highlighter. It's delicious. It's this white gold shade. Look at my face. Look at this. Isn't this the most reflective thing you've seen on earth? This is it. And it's like $3. Okay, this is $3 and I love it. Every time I get a chance to use a white gold shade, this is the one that I go for. I don't try anything else. It's the best of the best of the best. I cannot stop talking about this highlighter. It's truly my favorite and I never not go for it. So truly make the line. Now, 2 other highlighters that I use when I don't use that one is one, the Lottie London Shimmer Squad. I think I spoke about this highlighter, the one in the Good Girl, being one of my favorite last year. So this year I got to try the whole quad of highlighters and I really like them. It's the same formula, obviously, but you know, different shades. You got the champagne, you got the white, and then you got the pinky one. And this one, honestly, you can't use because it's too dark. But the formula is so good. I was decluttering and I thought I had to keep it because it's so good. It's very soft but reflective, so it's, you know, kind of like the in-between between this one and this one. And I love the fact that these 2 powder highlighters don't attach to the skin. They don't emphasize texture. And yeah, they don't look like powder, honestly, on the skin. They blend so nicely. And it's so buttery smooth. 10 out of 10. Like if you're looking for you know, getting various shades of highlighters, I highly suggest this brand. I think they're really cheap and they're really good. It's funny because all the stuff I feel like I've talked about hasn't been very drugstore oriented, but for highlighters, so good. The only highlighter that isn't a drugstore is the Rare Beauty highlighter. I couldn't not talk about it because it's so good. Now I don't tend to go a lot for it because I tend to use cream highlighters with my fingers, and most of the time I'm very lazy about that because I can't use a brush, or I don't know any brushes, or I haven't found the right brush to put it on with that doesn't look weird. So I do get very lazy, but nonetheless, this is a really good highlighter. And honestly, who the fuck is gonna end this? Like, this is so big. I don't know how I'm gonna use it up. I truly don't know. But I had to recommend it because it's really good. It's just like this one, only, you know, liquid version. It's the fact that it is very blendable and can be built up to be very reflective. So I do like it. It doesn't emphasize texture. Basically, all of them do the right job. But this one's super reflective. And this one can be built, and I feel like this one too. But these 2 can be, you know, more on the natural side. This is just perfection. Blinding perfection. We're almost done. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about lips. Favorite lips of the year. Okay, so I have 2 new finds and 2... Wait, did I find this one this year? Not 100% sure. My 2 favorite finds this year have been the Tower 28 Lip Jelly in Almond and the Rare Beauty Matte Soufflé in Fearless. These 2, so different yet so beautiful. So the Lip Jelly, obviously a gloss, it makes your lips so juicy, but it's not sticky, which is really nice. And the shade is beautiful, can be built up. Not much to say. Yes, it's not practical during these times, but hopefully 2021 will be the year that COVID ends. So once you can show off your lips, this is the one to go. And then Rare Beauty came out, obviously they came out with the whole line, but they have matte lipsticks, and this has been the most perfect matte ever that I've tested. I have very dry everything, and their lip products don't make you feel, it's like they're almost not there. That's kind of the feeling that you get. They're so soft. They feel like little clouds on your, like when you're putting it on, it feels like clouds. Super soft, super smooth. I can feel why they called it souffle. It's one of the only lipsticks that are matte that I can handle, because I usually don't go for any of those. I usually go for glosses, and this, honestly, delicious. I believe I bought this year. I'm not 100% sure. It's the Urban Decay Bice lipstick in Backseat. What a delicious lip. So since it's not being showed there, it's super pretty. It's a really pretty lipstick. It's a really beautiful shade, and I really like it, and highly recommend. It's the in-between, like it's not matte or glossy, it's just a regular lipstick, and really, really good. Then I think this lipstick, I bought it last year. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills matte lipstick. So I have Dread and I have Cool Brown. They're both delicious lipsticks. Dread is the one that I have on right now. They are matte, and they are drier than the Rare Beauty one. So if you're looking for a matte lipstick, I definitely go for this one more. However, their lip range right now, their color range is very limited compared to Anastasia. I have a bunch of shades, and I really, really like these ones. They're pretty much different tones of brown. One is cooler, one is even cooler. Not annoying on the lips, but the Rare Beauty one is like another level of comfortness. But these are really great. I love them. I love how they make my lips look. They look matte, but not disturbingly dry. So yeah, I really like this. I really highly recommend these lipsticks. That was pretty much it for 2020. It has been definitely an intense year. There's a lot to be grateful, at least on my end. In spite of all the craziness, a lot of good things have happened to me this year, and I'm really grateful for them. And I'd definitely like to know in your comments below what were your best 2020 makeup products. I love these products. Makeup makes me happy, and I hope you find this corner of YouTube the same to be for you. I will be doing at the end of this year, hopefully this will be done before the 31st. I know it will be done before the 31st. I will be doing a gratitude show off. So it's pretty much, I have this ritual of writing down things that I'm grateful for along the year, and then I open them up the 31st of December. So if you want to join me on that one, I'll be doing it on my Instagram stories, probably around at night. So if you want to follow me, I'll link my Instagram below and showcase it here somewhere along the video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, comment down below your favorite products and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!